Please say, Andrew is missing your call?
Yes, I did.
I call the honourable member Andrew Williams.
Well, thank you, Mr Chairman. Mr Chairman, I'll take a call on behalf of New Zealand First in relation to Part 2 of this bill. This does come as
Sorry, member cannot refer to Part 2. That debate is gone. We are now debating clauses 1, 2 to 3.
Yeah. Okay, Mr Chairman. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's wide-ranging title and commencement.
Mr Chairman, it does concern us what's been dropped on us here in terms of this bill in relation to the beneficiaries and superannuitants and those in the country. Mr Chairman, this is a pretty miserable late-minute thing from the government that they're doing here in terms of just sliding something through which is again an attack on beneficiaries and those who are in need of support from the state. And I was just, the reason I was a bit slow getting to my feet was I was just doing some calculations on this in terms of the CPI and looking at the effects of the CPI on superannuitants and on beneficiaries. And when you're looking at a single income beneficiary on about $400 a week or a couple on a bit over $600 a week, and if you're looking at the difference in the CPI effect because of taking tobacco out of the CPI or keeping it in, and it is such a small amount of money from a point of view of the government's revenues, but it can actually have an impact on the beneficiaries. And while to us it might not appear a lot of money, every few dollars every week adds up. And I think it's really very much, Mr Chairman, a situation of penny pinching again on the part of the government that, again, a few dollars out of every beneficiary's pocket could be affected through the adjustment in the CPI to beneficiaries out of this adjustment by not including tobacco in the CPI. It really is back to the Fagan budget that I mentioned in the Parliament on a few previous occasions, that they've already taken money off the paper boys and the paper girls, $14 million off them, and having taken $14 million off the children of this country, now they're going to also adjust the CPI so that the CPI also reflects that tobacco is not included in the CPI as well. So it's really getting down to real miserable penny pinching type budgetary constraints, and in that regard it's creating a situation in New Zealand where you have a CPI for some and you have a CPI for others, and so the CPI applies to those with money on a higher level of CPI, and those who are on welfare support have a different CPI adjustment. And in particular, the senior citizens of this country and those on superannuation, many of which are not smokers, many of which who have not smoked, why should they be penalised and have some sort of alteration to the CPI adjustment and increase simply because this government wants to be miserable and claw back some money because of the 10% annual increase each year for the next 4 years on cigarettes? You know, it really is starting to bite close to the bone in terms of our senior citizens in particular, and those on disabilities, those on welfare, who through no fault of their own and in times of difficulty or due to ill health or disability or because they are aged, are requiring support from the state. So, Mr Chairman, New Zealand First will not be supporting this part of the bill. We do support the overall thrust of the bill in terms of the health aspects and reducing cigarette smoking and tobacco consumption. But when it gets down to starting penny pinching to attack those who are the most vulnerable in New Zealand society, and in particularly the elderly who would be affected by a reduced adjustment on their superannuation increases from the CPI being cut back in terms of beneficiaries, then I'm sorry, but this is another case of the Tory government being very miserable to people who deserve better. So New Zealand First will not be supporting this part of the bill.
The question is that Clause 1 stand part. As many of that opinion will please say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that clause 2 stand part. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote call for? Is a party vote call for? The clerk will please conduct a party vote. Thank you.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Hey.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
Chris.
New Zealand First.
8 votes opposed.
We heard that, thank you.
Māori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Clause 2.
If it being clause 2, it's 34 votes in favour for the Labour Party. Thank you.
Thank you.
One in favour.
Has everyone finished making adjustments now?
Thanks for that.
Have we got it right?
Act New Zealand.
Thank you.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Honourable members, the ayes are 112, the noes are 8. Clause 2 will stand part. The question now is that clause 3 stand part. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Minister, you have to move this. Where's he? It's for the Minister.
Mr Chair, I move the SOP 129, dividing the bill.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the honourable member Ian Lees-Galloway.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair.